This is my presentation on the lifespan final. My presentation specifically focuses on the phases of my lifespan. In this project, I connect to central ideas learned throughout the course, which have shaped and given me a better understanding of my life experiences and context for future experiences. As learned in class, these phases all include the ones listed on the screen. Unfortunately, there are a variety of people who do not make it throughout all the phases, but for a general concept, this is what the ideal person goes through, and I will cover the phases that I have gone through personally as well. In the life course perspective, we examine individual experiences, and by doing so, we connect to many factors to make meaning out of it in order to uncover why human beings develop the way they do. These factors can be social, historical, or geographical factors. Others that the life course perspective mentions are life course themes and life course concept. The life course themes are listed on the right, and the life course concepts are listed on the left. With all these factors, we are able to get some context on the human experience and how people develop and make meaning from it. Through this term, there are many concepts that I was able to do in order to make meaning of my own personal life. To begin, I was born here in Portland, Oregon in October of 2002. Some of my obvious identities include being the first-born Gen Z girl. This is obviously a huge life event for me and my parents, especially them being immigrants. This historical period lands around right after 9/11 and wars and the Great Depressions and all those historical events that we know about now. To my parents, I was considered a guinea pig simply because I was the firstborn, and everything they did with me was their first time. Growing up, both of my parents were working, so my aunt looked after me for a very long time, while they were working. From the pictures I seen, we lived a fairly comfortable life. I definitely had the basic necessities and a whole bunch of love. One of the differences in generations from now, from when I was born, is the technology and safety concerns. Back then, there was no such thing as like an iPad kid or baby monitors, or at least we didn't have any at my household. And I definitely have seen a big difference with my upbringing and like my siblings. Now, a developmental transition at this point was learning how to walk, talk, getting baby teeth, eating baby food, and just being able to communicate. I was also baptized, and as a tradition in my family, I got my ears pierced at 3 months. At this point in time, some of my transitions included being an older sibling. This is my later childhood. And starting school, being able to speak both Spanish and English, and also understanding Mayan. One of the concept mentions in class was individuation, which is basically a conflict between the need for closeness and exploration. My parents were always very scared for me to fall, hit my head, or just for something bad to happen to me, so they were definitely overprotective. And now I realize that their upbringing was definitely different, which makes sense to why they treated me that way. And it's because he didn't get that much attention or anything like that. So I definitely do understand that different upbringing that we both had. Okay, adolescence. So I am currently in my adolescence, and I feel as if these have been one of the most amazing and terrifying experiences ever. I have made meaning of this point in time to make mistakes and prepare for the future. At this point in my life, I believe that I was being parented, or I am being parented in a natural growth strategy where basically my parents have already taught me, all the basics, have given me more than enough advice, and they still do. but they just let me navigate my life more freely than I was back then. Back then they were very strict on me, but now I have definitely earned that freedom, I think. Also, this is my adolescence has been a turning point on how I take care of myself. My parents always let me dress myself how I wanted, even if I wasn't clean, like they wouldn't mind. I was a kid, but as I grew older and once I got my period, in our culture we're considered a woman once we get our period. So I noticed a huge shift on how I was being seen, and just like my family, especially like the women, would tell me, "Sit like a lady, learn how to clean," and put many expectations on me. That was the norm for them, and this stage in my life has definitely been interesting because I have been able to analyze my own identity and make meaning out of it myself. And this course, identity has been an important thing that we have talked about, but what is most important is how one identifies. I think that is what I have gotten from our lessons. So seeing the different factors of how one makes up their identity in the video, like the ones seen in class, I have gotten more comfortable with embracing my own. Many important life events have occurred, like losing a loved one, becoming a woman, experiencing my first love, life or death situations. These different trajectories that not only have I had lots of monumental times in my life, but I have also lived through many historical events, which is one of the life course themes. For example, like the ongoing pandemic, the BLM movement, and protests, etc. Okay. For early adulthood, to me means establishing a career, enjoying the interdependence, and being welcomed to the real world. Even though now I do have a little glimpse of it, I am not fully there because the real world includes taxes, credit, and many bills. However, being introduced to this point in time is finding out what freedom is and doing what one is happy with, and at this point I hope to do so. I don't expect myself to be on a timeline, but I definitely want this time to be a time for exploration and self-love. Yeah. Now let's go to the next slide. Sorry. Okay. In all honesty, I am most excited about my middle adulthood. Although many experience a midlife crisis, or like for example my parents, they're very worried about their future as immigrants and not having like a retirement plan, but I hope that that's not the case for me. I hope that this will be a great time for change and growth, and to definitely be married and have kids at this point in time. I definitely want to establish social and financial stability, for stability and capital for my kids. I know that was a thing that we reviewed in class, and unfortunately not everyone gets capital. I feel like the only type of capital I got was the teachings that my parents gave me, and nothing really materialistic per se, but I definitely do want to pass down capital to my children. And I am choosing to go out of the norm in my family to have kids young. Knowing that older pregnancies have risks, I'm willing to take it in order to really give my kids stability and be present and actually be there for them. I think that's very important for me. I want my kids to be well off, so I definitely need to put in that work for them. And honestly, I hope to still be taking care of myself at that point in time. I think that if I am able to take care of myself, I am able to take care of my people as well. And I definitely want more purpose from life. I know that we reviewed that people find different senses of purpose at different times in life, but I feel like I will be most fulfilled and happy at this point in time, and I really hope that God does lend me that time to experience being a mother. Okay, for the next one, I combined late adulthood and adulthood together. I hope for them to both be a time of peace and happiness, although there will be many physical changes and just changes in general. I am not afraid to experience them after analyzing, that everyone's experience is different. I just hope that I am able to cherish and really value my own. And I think that I just hope God lends me enough time to really enjoy like my grandchildren and just enjoy like the legacy that I leave for my people, and that just really makes me emotional just to even think about it. Honestly, I had never really put any thought like to be a grandma or anything like that, but as we covered that in class, like I just thought of things like climate change and different factors that, if I'm there at that time, will have an impact in our life. Finally, there are many ways in which people can pass away, and I honestly didn't detail this slide as much just because death is very abrupt and can come in different ways. And honestly, I have had such a hard time making meaning out of death, and I think it's something that is very hard for me. And honestly, unpacking death during class has made me more grateful for my life, first of all, and also seeing how different cultures honor and respect deaths. I hope to do the same, and now I think I have a more positive outlook at death. Like if that is our time, then everything happens for a reason. And to wrap up, in life there is continuity and change, things that stay the same and other things that are different. I have experienced a change that has been neutral, lateral, better, or worse. However, I have the capacity to adapt in whichever situation. To add on, every person is unique and is shaped by the life experiences that they go through, which include, in the life course perspective, include timing of lives, life trajectories, human agency, and making the most important in how a person lives. So what I mean from that is basically the timing of life trajectories, and human agency, to me, are the most important on how someone chooses to live. I'm just repeating that sentence again because I stuttered. I believe that identifying all these factors in life have made me more grateful and cautious. I have more knowledge which would help me make future decisions. I believe that the life course perspective has made me realize that we as humans have the capacity to choose how we want to live our lives, because we have options and make decisions through them, just as well as through human agency. And yeah, that is my presentation.